September 1st, 2021. As you're looking at satellite images over the Caribbean, and that's on the left side of your screen, starting to strengthen somewhat. There's 30% chance now of it developing, and skating the Central America coast there, and then crossing the Yucatan, coming into the southern Gulf of Mexico. We're going to take a look at that. But here's the chart on it. Again, 30% chance. Notice Ida at the top is moving out. And this storm, guys, could move offshore and then come back up into the extreme northeast. Kate is moving north. That's in the center. And then to the right of this is Tropical Storm Larry at 50 miles an hour. It's going to become a Cat 3. But this one, 30% chance of development. It says it has a chance to slowly develop over the next few days. It says, but thereafter the system will have another opportunity for gradual development in the southwestern Gulf of Mexico. That's because it's going to skirt across the Yucatan. Where it will go after that, we do not know yet. But the Ida's there. Kate is moving north, but Tropical Storm Larry has now developed 50-mile-per-hour winds. It's moving rather quickly. It's projected to take this path, and depending on where it catches the front and it gets a break in the high-pressure dome over the Atlantic, it possibly could turn and not affect land. We're going to have to watch it. Notice in the far right of this screen, the storm is strengthening. Here's your Caribbean storm, but here's Tropical Storm Larry. It has developed a very good center of circulation, and the last update, which is several hours old, it was at 50 miles an hour, but it almost seems to be developing an eye at this point. Very good center of circulation, very good rotation throughout the storm. Check that out. So this is predicted to very quickly become a Category 1, then to a 2, then through a 3 as it moves across the Atlantic. Now, it's got a more northerly track than what we've seen in the last few hurricanes. Here we go. 50-mile-per-hour storm, west at 22 miles an hour, so it's moving quickly. By tomorrow morning, 8 a.m., Category 1, and you can see how it progresses. Now, again, it will depend, and we're going to look at a couple of models, on how the high-pressure systems react to the storm, or it reacts to them. But by Monday at 8 a.m., 120-mile-per-hour Cat 3. But that Cat 3 starts very quickly, and that's just in a couple of days. Friday, 8 a.m., it's a Cat 2, and then sometimes during the day, Friday, it's a Cat 3. We'll watch it, and we're going to look at two of the different models. Here are the spaghetti models for it, and you've got the Navy model keeping it kind of that north curve, and it's a purple line at the very bottom of this. And this was updated at 12 p.m. today. So you can see how it's aimed at the northeastern coast of the U.S., but again, one model stops it, the Navy model stops it right there, and you can see that purple area, and that's the Navy model. Right beside it, which is kind of hidden by the other markers, is the light green CMC model, the Canadian model that we've always watched those two. Now, this is the NavGem model. It doesn't go out as far as the Canadian model. Shows a very powerful Cat 3 storm coming right there, and that's the end date on September the 8th. Today's the 1st. And if you look at the color coding in the line at the bottom of this video, that when you get into that purple, you're dropping millibars of pressure. And the lower that pressure, the stronger the storms. This also reflects that Ida is going to move offshore. Notice that in the top of this. Moves offshore around Long Island and may have a chance to slightly re-strengthen. Either way, it's going to bring a lot of moisture. But this is a powerful storm. And if we're lucky, the high-pressure dome is going to allow it to move into the Atlantic. Now, this is different. This is satellite images over the U.S. We've got a lot of smoke involved here, but Ida is, although it's a post-tropical storm at this point, it's still got a rain in it. The entire storm is not wet. It's just the top half where you see the higher clouds. That's where the moisture is now. But that thing could give you a lot of rain over the next few days. Let's look at California a minute, guys. This is, again, incredible images to me. The at the top of the screen, you've got an offshore flow. See that? And it's being pulled. A tremendous amount of smoke is being pulled into that offshore flow. Now here you've got the Lake Tahoe fire, and called the Calder fire, if I'm not mistaken. And it's pumping a tremendous amount of smoke into Vegas. And there's two fires above it. It's doing the same thing. Looking at Southern California, you can see how a lot of that Tahoe fire is moving into southern Nevada and is being somewhat absorbed by tropical moisture that's being pulled up through Mexico from a storm there. Notice the discoloration in the clouds here. You're looking above Oklahoma, Nebraska, north of there. That's because of this wood smoke. Now, we're still somewhat cool here. It is 86 degrees, but what's happening is we're starting to get more moisture in, and our heat index now is 103. Think of that, from 86 to 103, and this is at 12:04 p.m. Central Time. But along the coast of Louisiana, where the devastation is, it's been much hotter than that because they're being influenced by that Gulf inflow. Now, in the north central U.S. and moving toward the northeast, including the Great Lakes, you're getting a dip in the jet stream, and you should be feeling some cooler air. And what it's doing is pushing all of that wood smoke that you see in the left side of the screen into a central area. But right here, you're possibly getting some fresh, cool air. You're also noticing the thicker clouds just to the right of that, and that is where the moisture is in the remnants of Ida. Just keep an eye on it, guys, along New York, Massachusetts, and that area, some of the areas that were affected by our last storm that went through there. And here, we're just switching to some infrared images, guys. You've got, again, it's showing where the moisture is. You notice below that, in just the white clouds, you can still see some of the energy of Ida. That's dry, but in that north section, and if it moves offshore, you're going to have some problems with rain. Now, this is a video that I'm going to link you to. It's from Fox 8 down in New Orleans, and it's called The Impact of Ida on Grand Isle for Tuesday, August 31st. And they don't have any cell phone service there, but Rob Krieger, which is one of the longtime reporters, is on the phone back to the station in New Orleans. Their big 5G tower, 4G tower, whatever it is there, was taken out. All of their power poles was taken out. With the salt water, as well as you got places in Port Fourchon, some of the other areas like Homa. And there's links, if you go to this video at the Fox website, there's links where the governor has flown over some different areas other than this, and these are flyover videos with a great report from the ground. But they're saying it is devastated and uninhabitable. The roads going down towards there, or I think it's 101 or Highway 1 coming south, has been washed out in a few places. There's no pavement there. And it looked like from the aerial images the bridge was intact, but there's devastation across the island. It's going to be a long time before folks can come back in there. There's a lot of businesses there. You've got a lot of fishing fleets and charter boats and a lot of residential areas, and just about everything you can think of is there. And it's a lot more populated than it used to be. And one of the things a reporter was talking about was that they'd spent years in Grand Isle, and really it is a paradise in a way, but just like any basically desert island, storms can devastate it. But it is a beautiful place, and it would be a great place to live, but you would always want to leave. And they did. I guess a lot of people were on top of the game because they're the ones that were in their campers. They left. Well, they were forced to leave, but they left. And that may be the way to rebuild this. I don't know, guys, but storms are intensifying. And with the levee, what I was talking about, that they spent years building up, the weather reporter described it. It was a sand levee that was then covered with a plastic sheeting, and then they had covered more sand on it. They've been planting the sea oats, and it's possibly some trees and things like that. along there, and that is the protection. That is the barrier for these barrier islands, and that's gone. Now, the bottom layer is still there, but all of the top layer of sand that they've been working on for years and years with the sea oats and all that is completely gone. And it's important because hurricane season is not over. So what's going to happen, and I don't know how many people will be able to move back before another storm moves into this area. But it's important to realize you do not have that barrier there now. But again, I'm going to link to this, Fox 8, New Orleans. There's several other videos there you need to see. A lot of people don't realize, and mainstream media is not covering the devastation that this storm created. They're saying it was at 150 miles per hour as it came into Grand Isle with 175 mile an hour gust. And there's tremendous destruction. But guys, again, I'll put that link there. We're watching the Atlantic. We're watching the entire U.S. You pay attention to it. It's a heads up. Be safe.